All right, y'all. Welcome to the latest Wind Down episode. As you know, if you're new to the Wind Down, you should know that this is like an after show of Breakdown to Lowdown. It's a segment that we do exclusively in video format. You can find it on our IGTV and also on YouTube. It's where we welcome a former guest onto the show, one of our lovely guests, and we have a conversation with them that might have stemmed originally on our show, conversation that we started and we didn't get to fully flesh it out. We talk for about 15, 20 minutes and we, welcome the guests to give their input and opinion on a specific topic. This week, we have a very special guest. He was the first guest on Breakdown to Lowdown, so we're so excited to welcome the internationally acclaimed artist. ASUQUOMO is in the building. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me again, Nikki. Happy to be here.
Hey, we are happy to have you. Clarence and his Hatter, happy to have you. Um, listen, today's topic, I'm excited to have with you because you've been doing a lot since the last time we spoke, okay? And I see that I would say your career has progressed upwards. Would you say that?
Yes, I would
I mean,
agree
it
with that.
hasn't regressed.
Sorry, I'm just writing the topic down, but yes,
It's all right.
it is a privilege to be able to reflect on the conversations we had on that episode. And yes, I and my team, because now I have a team, we have been able to move forward. So I'm
Yeah.
really happy about that.
So you recently listened to the episode? Because it was almost 3 years ago, so I have no idea what we
So
talked
I,
about.
so I listened to the episode from the top all the way to the middle to actually know what the breakdown kind of, just to get myself back with the show. But I
Yeah.
didn't listen to the episode from my parts, so I didn't even hear all the chapters we had,
Okay.
the
So
breakdown.
what
But
you're telling me is that you don't follow the show, which is,
no, no,
it's a problem.
I
It's a problem.
don't follow the show, literally, but I do follow the show because I see you everywhere.
Hey, we out here. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's the
I'm gonna,
compliment.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna lock that into my playlist tabs and all that, and lock that in.
Hey, I think we're pretty entertaining. I think Clarence and I have a winning formula. But and actually that brings me to the topic too, because we put in a lot of hard work to this show. Um, Clarence and I every week, and we are people who also work on other endeavors. We're ambitious people as well. Um, and I think that so luck versus hard work. Some people think that arriving at a certain point in life takes a certain amount of luck. Some people think you make your own luck. Some people say if you consistently work hard at something, there's no way you can't not be successful at it. We had a recent conversation with a very great guest. We loved having her, Martin Saint Victor, who mentioned some aspects of her career being due to luck, like her position on RDI. She said that was kind of a luck thing. Somebody who had seen an article she had written, and just like sequence of events. What do you think about that, like in general, and then we'll get into it deeper.
Wait, while you were speaking, I was just thinking about it. I feel luck can be experienced in different ways with different people. And for me in general, I want to start by saying luck has played a key role,
Mm.
that if I were to remove that luck, what luck had to play in my whole thing, I don't know what would play that role in place of luck, right?
Mm.
Luck is kind of like that thing that makes the dots connect when the dots are already there, so to speak.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like your hard work builds your luck. You
Mm.
working on your luck. You just nothing happens like randomly or luckily or whatever. Because me personally, I think it's more about the timing. I don't feel like an opportunity will come to you um just like that at a random time. Like some opportunity sometimes can happen, but you're not ready, but
Mm.
you need to work on it for you to be ready in the future. It might come again. It's just a question of timing. That's how I feel. But anything's happen for a reason too.
I I
So,
agree. I agree with Clarence completely on this because I have trouble. I actually have trouble with the word luck. You know
mm,
what I mean? Because Now, don't get me wrong. There are people who don't work as hard and they get a certain level of success. Like, let's say something like, this is a bad example, but y'all remember that girl who sang Friday? Uh,
Yeah.
that horrible song. That young girl just happened, she is one hit wonder, whatever, something, or Bobby, whatever her name is, Catch Me Outside girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I recall now.
Sorry?
I remember now.
Yeah, like, she becomes famous, gets a following. Now she's an influencer, gets paid for certain things. You know what I mean? I think that, yes, that is a type of luck or whatever. But I also think that when you are in an industry, especially a creative industry, there's a lot. It's very oversaturated. So a lot of people are, doing shows. A lot of people are musicians or whatever, and they're working hard. Everybody is working hard. I think the difference is it's always going to be who is working harder, and that is going to show in what kind of lucky opportunities come up. Meaning, like, kind of what Clarence said, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So even when, like, Martin was speaking, I remember, like, she said, like, somebody who had come across an article was like, yo, we need her to do this segment on RDI. But it's like, if your article hadn't been good, if it had not been quality, it wouldn't have gotten noticed. And yes, it's lucky that that person from that station noticed it. But I think that if it had been trash, it wouldn't have mattered who noticed it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that the word luck,
it's a timing too, because like it just happened that probably that person was looking for a writer or something. So yeah.
You know what I mean? And I like blessings. I like the word blessings. I'm a believer, I'm a spiritual person. And I agree with Clarence that there is timing involved in it. But I also think you can make your own luck. You can put yourself into situations where it's like they don't have, you're in their eyesight, in their vision. Like, I remember a specific job that I got, and like months later, my supervisor was telling me, he's like, like, when I chose you, like, I was so, like, close to choosing somebody else. Like, I was like I was having trouble making the decision between the two of you. And he's like, the deciding factor was like, you had messaged me on LinkedIn, like, before I made the decision. You were like, hey, like, just wanted to say, like, I'm excited about the role, can't wait to hear from you or whatever. He was like, that was a deciding factor for me. He's like, oh, this girl's interested, and she's following up. And he's like, at that point I didn't know where to go. So I was like, you never know.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've had my share bit of luck play its role, like, different ways. So, like, sometimes luck, like, I would say I will use luck, or I would say I got lucky, or that was a very lucky way it turned out, because I couldn't figure it out. Like, I couldn't see it working out, right? And then something outside my influence or power kind of happened, and then.
Do you mind if I ask for an example, or is it too, like?
No, it's not. It's not. Okay, so for example, so there's this really cool guy in Toronto that I kind of his name is Shad. He's a musician. I'm sure you might have come across him, hip hop musician. So he was a mentor at one residency I did at the BAM Center. So when I went on the BAM Center site and I was looking through the programs, his name will be there as one of the mentors, right? So I said I would like to be part of the group, so I can, chat with him and all that. So I registered for that residency, and then after like a year, so I went to the residency anyways. But do you know that I didn't even get to meet Shad? Because the week Shad was coming to residency, the program had to cancel because of COVID.
Okay.
Right. So I was there for 3 weeks and I stayed 2 weeks, and the last week we canceled. But one of the sole reasons why I even registered was so I could meet Shad, right? So I could be like, hey, I watched Hip Hop Evolution on Netflix, and this is my way of validating how close I am to hip hop. So I'm kind of validating my degree point to you. So I'm interviewing you the way you interviewed the Snoop Dogs and the rest. So this was within me. But anyways, I couldn't see him at the residency. Now, my luck worked that my application got accepted. I booked a flight. I went to the residency. So I did everything that I was trying to do to meet this guy. And we didn't get to meet because the program got canceled. I came back to Ottawa, and then a year later, Banff announced another residency, January 2021, right?
Mm-hmm.
I applied again, and Shad was going to be a mentor again. And
Mm-hmm.
this time I got to have one-on-one meetings with him. And then that thing that I wanted to do kind of later happened, like a whole year later,
A
like
whole year
what we're
later.
thinking about time. So my luck worked. The fact that I got the residency, I got admitted, I went over there, but I didn't get to meet the person I wanted to meet. And then a year later, we're doing like an online residency. And then I have him on Zoom for every day in a week, which was awesome, right? So we still got
And
to
you
do
you
the
got to connect. See,
to connect. So that was kind of like I wasn't at that. I felt like I wasn't mad at it. Like whatever reason I wasn't able to see him earlier, like I wasn't. I was like, okay, well, this is how it was supposed to
it's like
happen.
Clarence said, it wasn't the right time.
It wasn't
His
the right
timing
time.
is
Yeah.
And probably now you're more prepared than last year too when you met him. So
Guess what? I was more prepared.
big
I
fact.
actually went and got my bars together for when I'm actually gonna
Hey,
be
you got it
there.
tight, got it right.
Yeah, I got it
Listen,
right and tight. Yeah, but that's one of the very recent ones that happened this January that I kind of sat back and like the time it was supposed to happen and then the time it actually happened was like March 2020, January 2021. But then throughout the whole month, I still wanted to see this guy. I still wanted to do this interview. So I was just doing my part, you know, and
I
the
think
lock.
you put that into the universe too. I feel like you like put that kind of energy of like wanting to meet him and wanting to connect. You put that out there and it
I
happened.
put
I think
that
that
out there a long time ago, even before, like I put that out there like last year, April, something like that.
Mhm.
Like that's when I started getting ready to apply and all that stuff. So I've been wanting that. But luck, you can't play with luck, but at the same time, you gotta know um
But you were ready to act on the luck. Is what
exactly increase your luck. Sorry, I'm just getting my charger. But
no
yeah, you
problem.
gotta know when to increase your luck, man. But yeah, that's it. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like for me, my only thing, the only thing with luck that I started to get annoyed with this, uh, few the last few years is like a lot of people, especially younger people, right? They would meet me or like they're in a similar program that I'm in, or they want to do some of the things that they've seen me do, and they're like, "Oh man, like you're so lucky, you got to do this. You're so lucky." I'm like, lucky, like because everything in my life, I
you
honestly
work
I
hard
feel like
for it.
I have worked hard for it. Everything that I have has not been easy. Like I used to say, and I don't say this anymore because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, but I used to say I'm so unlucky. Like I have to build everything from the ground up. I used to be mad, like annoyed. But I realized that honestly, the more I started to change my mentality um, about that word, I was like, yo, things are coming to me where naturally I am getting the opportunities that I need and that I see. And even like connecting with great people like Clarence, like I could say that was luck, but I don't think it is. I think there's certain people in your life for a reason. There's destiny, there's fate. And I tell these kids, and I tell these young people to ask me, I'm like, honestly, I'm sure there's some people who can base their career off of luck, but I'll tell y'all, it wasn't luck for me, mostly. Like
And
I have had to. I made every decision purposefully. Almost everything I've done is extremely calculated, and there has been a method behind my madness with everything, and I expect to see the fruits of my labor, and I have seen many of the fruits of my labor. So that was my issue with it because a lot of people just they see the face of it, they don't see the back end of it. They're like, oh well, like some people could go on your page and they like you verified check mark, excuse the fuck out of me. I'm like you're doing it, big, okay?
That happened recently.
It happened recently. But I did notice the little shift. And they're like, damn, you so lucky. You got that check mark. I'm like, nah, my boy's been working. He's been putting in work. Like, it's not just
Talk that talk.
that's what I'm saying. Like that's all I meant. But I'm not gonna knock people who believe that,
and the thing too, like I feel like because you keep saying that people say, "Oh, you're lucky, you're lucky." Like the thing is, we made the word luck or lucky part of a vocabulary, but we don't understand that, yo. whatever you're saying, sometimes that's what's gonna happen too. Like if you keep, like you said earlier, if you keep saying that you are unlucky or whatever, then you keep gonna have a bunch of bad
That's
unlucky
true.
event or whatever. And the thing with unlucky events too, I feel like, and that's by my personal experience, is like, yo, whatever the bad situation is, like, yo, you turn like limes into lemonade. You just do what you gotta do. Sometimes some bad situation happen for you to grow up from it, and then like, okay, now what's gonna do next? You learn that
Listen,
lesson.
I want to give Clarence a hug, right? Amen. Like you just, like,
Yeah.
amen, because this is
I can hear
that's
you.
exactly how that's a
Mhm.
great way to like kind of round out that topic because that even brings to the point of like even bad luck or a bad turn of events isn't like when you didn't meet a shad the first time. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily a bad thing. It's just a restructuring of how you view it.
Mhm.
Like if you view like quote unquote failures not as a failure but as a like a learning opportunity or as a way to get prepared for the next time, then you truly never have bad luck. You never
Let
lose.
let me
Everything
tell
is
you how this
repurposed.
affected me. This affected me like crazy because when I wanted to meet Shad in 2020, I wanted to. So I was looking at the mentors. It was like maybe 3 or 4 mentors. Shad was one of them. I'm like, okay, cool. There's a bunch of them, but like at least there's one hip hop head who can tell me this and this sounds like this and this will work and this is a radio breaking song.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I wanted to meet him for. But if I had met him, I wouldn't have made use of the meeting as much as I did now that I actually
Mhm.
met him. Because now what happened was, now that I didn't get to meet him and I had some time, when I eventually met him, I had like new songs, new
Mm-hmm.
demos. I had the stuff I wanted to meet him and show him. That time I didn't have it. I just knew I wanted to meet this person, but I didn't have, the product. I didn't have the demos to be like, hey, Shad, can you play this album and tell me what you think? I didn't
Wow.
have.
Mhm.
I just wanted to meet Shad and say, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do.
I'm
But
sorry, y'all. God is good. God said you're not
but now
ready
I
yet,
kind of
but
got
you're gonna
my
be ready
I
next
got
year.
my things together, and then when I met him, it was almost like, I don't know, man. It was so it didn't. I almost it almost made sense that we
I was
didn't
about to
meet.
say meant to be, or is that
Yeah, it almost made sense. So
Mhm.
at that time, it wasn't too much like, I didn't see it as luck, like being bad luck. I mean, when it happened that time, I wasn't even like, COVID was killing me, but I wasn't even thinking good luck or bad luck. But
yeah,
now it's kind of like, now I'm seeing what my luck is. So I can want it, I can go for it,
yeah,
but I also have to be able to,
mm,
have patience and just,
mm,
if it's not working on my time, I got to know that it's not me, it's just timing, like
Mhm.
Clarence
That's
said.
it.
Yeah. So
that's
like
facts.
I can totally feel that. It's almost like we're saying the same thing, but like our personal experiences is kind of showing us how that affects us
Yeah, and
differently.
how and I mean that's the beautiful thing. I think that's one of the beautiful things about having these types of conversations because I feel like even in hearing Maxine describe what she was saying during that interview, it wasn't that she was necessarily disagreeing with us. She just had a different experience with
Mm.
luck. And one of the things that she mentioned, and I just want to end on this, I guess, is like there are people who just work hard their whole life, hard work, and they just don't get there. I think that's sad. I think that's sad, but
Oh,
honestly,
there's a reason for it.
yes,
Everything has a reason. There's a
and
reason. Probably you can be top notch, a plus studying or whatever, but there's definitely something that you got to work on that you don't even realize. Like I
I think
always
it's
say that
not
to
their
people.
purpose.
Like
I think if you're working hard at something your whole life and it doesn't work,
there's
I think
something
it's
that you got to
probably
change.
not what you should be doing.
Not necessarily. It's just there's some shit that you got to change from you.
Okay, check this out. What if someone's working hard for so long and there's nothing clicking, and then 1 year comes by and they're like, let me switch it up, let me try this.
Mhm.
They just like start something that they never said I want to do this, but like this time around they were like, let's just switch up to something, and they switch, and then stuff starts working out in this other thing,
There's
right?
that too.
So now,
That could
so
be
now there's the one where it's like, okay, the other thing wasn't for them, or is it more of like the time has come? So it wasn't about what they were doing, but like the time has come.
that's true
It
too.
was
Mhm.
it wasn't the
Yeah.
fact that they switched, but they would not know that it's not that I switched. It was just not
It
the
was just not
time.
the right time.
So yeah, there's that too. That's interesting. I
Listen,
thought about that
Yeah.
while you were talking.
And just to add on what you just said too, is that some people, like let's say me and you, we're doing the same thing. but it's working perfectly fine for you. But I'm doing the same thing, it's not working for me. But sometimes people need to pay attention and be like, you know what? Let me see what this person is doing. So maybe I can do it too. And I feel like there's nothing that someone else is doing that you can't do. It's just if you want to apply it or not, or
You
put
can
the
learn it. Yeah.
necessary effort. So sometimes we need to pay attention to around us. Like me, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes like Nikki can give me some tips or whatever, or she tell me, oh yeah, I'm doing this and that. I'm like, okay, all right, maybe I need to change the way that I'm doing stuff sometime. Maybe that's a better approach too. So there's no shame in that. Sometimes we need to take a step back and be like, you know what? Like maybe the way that I'm doing it, yes, it's working, but it's not working at the same time. I can reach that next level too.
That has
So
been
That's big
that has
facts because
been
Clarence has helped me a lot with that. And especially
sorry.
like he has a lot of great ideas for the show I always take.
What he just said is what has kind of helped me grow, so to speak. Like I've allowed people to, I've trusted people to kind of play
Mm,
their role and stuff, and just kind of
that's big. Trust
like
is big.
be able to kind of like learn, even when you're the one, like I'm the artist, you're the manager, or you're the A or not, but I'm learning from you guys.
Amen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's saving my life. You don't even know.
Constantly being a student is important. And I do, and you know what? And I kind of want to take back to what I said about if you're working hard at something not and it's not working, it's not your purpose. I don't think it's not your purpose. I think it's either a thing of time because I don't believe that somebody has a passion and that is not what they should be doing. I think that would be cruel. I think that's a cruel world.
Like
Um,
you could only do your passion, like you could only have passion for something.
you should only be doing things that you're passionate about. If
Yeah,
you're passionate, if you're passionate about starting non-for-profits and helping homeless people, that's what you need to be doing. Because some people have a passion for that.
yeah,
And I think changing your angle and the way you approach it, like if you wanted to have a successful get the grant from the city to open up your shelter and it hasn't worked out, they're not trusting you, whatever.
yeah.
I think there's always a way to come around and try different. Maybe you don't. Maybe you crowdsourcing. Maybe you don't need the the loan from the bank to open up your shelter. Maybe you find another avenue. But I think a lot of times the people that end up doing that hard work for nothing is the people that are doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. They're like, well, I've been doing this and it's gonna work. It's like no. And I used to listen. Honestly, I used to be like this. I can be set in my ways. I can be like, yo, I like doing it this way,
And
and
that's
don't tell me what the hell to do. You know what I mean? But I have grown in that aspect in terms of breakdown, slow down. Like Clarence changed the way we do the intros. I was just like, why? But like I like that. Like we enter now on a conversation. Sometimes people might drop in on a conversation. It sounds more organic, sounds more natural. And I'm not an idiot. I'm not gonna knock on something that works. You know what I mean? If it works, it works. You know what I mean? And if it doesn't work, there's nothing that's set in stone. We can pivot and we can change and we can modify.
yeah. That really makes sense. I feel like that's been a lot for me. Like I've learned how to balance my hard work and my luck, right? Like while I'm doing my thing, like I'm doing my thing, I have my team,
Hmm.
I have like aspirations and stuff. But when something doesn't go as planned, um, I wait for it. Like I give it patience, or I kind of see if there's help. Like I learned how to ask for help now. Like you
Hmm.
wouldn't think I
Hmm.
have a manager that I struggle to ask for help. Doesn't make any sense. But now I learned how to ask for help, and hey, hey, can we do this better? Or should I be worried about this? Or tell me to kill it. Tell me to
Exactly.
kill it. Yeah. So like the hard work and the luck, I feel like it goes hand in hand. But
Yeah.
I just feel like I feel like if we know what we're doing and what we want, we will know when it's luck, and we will know when it's hard work. And if we are able to identify which one it is, because it's never one or the other, it's always changing, right, with
Yeah.
the
It's like
time
a
of
balance.
action. Yeah,
It's like
but if
fair.
we're able to kind of understand the balance, I feel like it's gonna help us in our work, because we need both. We need hard work, we need luck.
Fair.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you just before we wrap up, is there anything that you have coming up or anything you want to let the people know that's coming in the pipeline? And then also, where can people keep in touch with you?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be down to earth for the people that are actually tapped in. We've had we've had to scrape our calendar for the year because of COVID and lockdown. But we're working on something. This project's being worked on. Sorry about that. This project's being worked on. We just don't have any, solid announcements to make.
Okay.
But one thing I know for sure is I'll probably have you and Clarence on one of my clubhouse calls in the summer. I
Would
have
love
a
to.
I have a digital something I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get some attention to the city, but when that's ready, I'll plug you in.
I bet.
Let's do it.
Anytime.
And then where can people follow you?
So I'm online as ASUQUOMO, ASUQUOMO. That's Twitter, IG, Spotify, and Facebook. Check me out.
Beautiful. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for joining us for the wind down. Make sure that you check out full episodes of Breakdown to Lowdown everywhere podcasts are found. We are also now on video format on YouTube. Want to thank you so much, Asuquomo, for dropping by, and we hope you are not a stranger.
Thank you for having me. I'm gonna be plugging this episode with all my friends that need to hear about this topic.
Oh, this is going to be great. All right. Bye.
Thank you
Well,
so much for having me. Bye now.